Hi, good afternoon. Long time no see. Let's just start new, shall we? It is a new year. It's about 2 o'clock on January 4th. It's a very sunny Sunday. And I've missed doing this. I didn't do it for very long last year. I think maybe the anxiety got the best of me. I started to get a little stressed about the quality of videos, and as much as I said I wasn't going to let it bother me, I got stressed about how many people were watching and if anyone was liking it and subscribers, and so I just stopped because I said if it's gonna stress me out I'm not gonna do it, and so I stopped. But I did miss it, and so I think I was waiting for, not that you need the new year to start something new, but I was waiting for the new year to roll back around so that I could jump back into doing this kind of thing. But I'm excited. Welcome. I hope you had a fantastic holiday. I hope that the new year has been good for you so far whenever I get around to actually uploading this. As you can see, I have a large stack of books over here. I've got some stuff over here. I just was going to sit down today, do a little reintroduction of myself and some of the things I've got going in my life and some of the things I hope to get going in my life in this new year. One of my biggest goals, really my only goal that leads into a bunch of other subgenres of goals and things this year, is to be more mindful of everything that I do. I want to be more mindful of the things that I consume, whether it's genuine consumption, going out and buying items. I bought way too many books this year. I don't think that books are a bad thing. They're not the worst thing I could be buying. I could be spending my money on many other things, but books have become my addiction of choice. And I'll be honest, I only read 40 books this year. I read 40 books this year. That's an accomplishment. But compared to the amount that I purchased and how many of those books that I purchased that I did not read, I need to take a step back from that. So, like many people do, I think the first few months of the year, if not maybe the whole year, I'm hoping to go on a book buying ban, but more so be mindful of the books that I do purchase. There are some books that are coming out this year that I'm very excited about. There are some books that came out last year that I'm excited to get in paperback this year. So I just want to be more mindful about what I'm buying, what authors I'm buying. Am I going to read the book? Is it going to be a book that is going to stay with me? Because I started using the library a lot more this past year, and so I want to utilize that resource as well. I have no more, getting off on a tangent already, but I have no more streaming services. I don't use Spotify. I don't have any TV services at all. So the library has become a big platform, resource for me to watch things and take in information. And so I'm very excited about that, but books in general, as far as consumption goes, books are something that I struggle with a lot, and so I want to be mindful about that and the purchases that I make. I haven't had time to do a lot of shopping or a lot of thrifting this past year. I started a new job, and so I had a lot more time taken up in my day-to-day life, so I didn't do as much of that, which made me feel good, and I never felt like I was missing out on shopping. I've never really been a big shopping person anyway, but thrifting became a weakness after a little while, but so having the time taken up by working and not being able to do that, that's helped a lot. So that's one way I want to be mindful this year, is in my spending, consumption, and what I'm buying. I want to be mindful about the way I spend my time. I want to spend less time on my phone, less time on social media, because it can become such a distraction and I get nothing else done. And the time that I spend on that, I want to channel more into creating. That's what I want to do this year. I want to create more art. I think this past year I struggled a lot with the desire to change my art style, and I was nervous that since I had sort of established myself in the art that I had created, that I couldn't move that and sort of transition into another genre of creativity, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Some of the things I have to show, I started making these bookmarks this year, beaded bookmarks. I love them. I think they're gorgeous. I made many for Christmas gifts and for people throughout the year. And I'm hoping to use this and maybe go out on a limb, maybe talk to some local bookstores, see if they'd like to sell these. I want to create more and take more risks with my art. Just take more risk with myself, be open to rejection, potential failures, and you know, just go for it. That's what I want this year to be, is something that I just go for, but also follow my own path. And if it's something that feels right, I want to do it. I don't want to force myself into a box. I also really got into these sort of, I don't know the technical term for it, I think everything I ever saw said filet crocheting, but it's these really cool, you know, square by square. This one's an apple, if you can't tell, but I really got into this. I created some wall hangings for people. This is a wall hanging for myself. I think I made some bookmarks for people. So I think that crafts and art that takes a longer time has been something that has really drawn me in and interested me in 2025, and so I want to carry that over into 2026 and maybe take on and start more long and drawn out projects. I just love working with my hands. The new job that I have, it's me working with my hands all day every day, and I've loved it so far. So I want to be mindful of the things I throw my pen across the room, be mindful of the things I'm creating, my time and what I'm using time for, who I'm spending my time on, forcing myself to do things that I don't find beneficial for the person I want to become or the life I want to live. And being mindful of the words that I use, the word choices. I can be very self-deprecating sometimes, or just lean towards the pessimistic side, and I don't think I can get rid of that completely. I think at heart I probably am a pessimist, which is, you know, probably not the greatest thing to be, but being mindful of the words that I choose to use, the way I structure sentences, that right there. I would love to cut out filler words if I can, but I think that's just the world that we live in and the vocabulary that we have and how we form sentences and how we communicate. You're gonna have those pauses, and as an anxious person I have to fill the silence, and so I want to be gentle with myself and know that it's not that I am uneducated or I'm not smart, I sound stupid. It's not that at all. It's that I can't come up with words on the fly sometimes and I have to take a pause. But just being mindful of those moments, and maybe even in that moment being mindful that maybe the person I'm talking to isn't judging me for that, and that maybe they're just interested in what I have to say. So remembering that I matter and other people matter, and just being mindful of the space and the time that we have in our short lives to make the world a great place and to contribute. Yeah, so mindfulness would be a big goal for me this year. And I was looking, running over this list again that I wrote the other night, and I think that majority of the goals that I have, like I said, stem from being mindful. And so I have, you know, make more art, take more chances, which I mentioned, spend less time on my phone. I wrote down that I want to watch more films. I have really gotten into Letterboxd this year, and I've loved keeping track of my Criterion list and what I've seen and what I haven't. I watched a lot of Wes Anderson this year. I watched a lot of Doctor Who this year. I watched a lot of, I read The Lord of the Rings for the first time. I haven't finished it, but I read The Lord of the Rings, some of it. So watching those movies, I've been watching things that bring me joy, and I want to carry that over into 2026. I want to continue watching more films. Maybe films that have great meaning, maybe to the world that we live in now, that would help me understand more things, but I also don't want to just watch it because everyone is watching it. I think I did that a few times in 2025. Watch some movies that maybe weren't my cup of tea just because someone said I needed to, and I'd like to be more mindful of maybe not doing that. I'd like to watch more films and take in more art in that way. That's a way that I'm okay with consuming this year. But I also want to be mindful about the films that I do watch, and maybe not just to fill the space or the time. Maybe I want to watch a movie because that's the activity I want to be doing right then. Maybe not as a filler space. There's ambiance for that, and I love YouTube ambiance, so I will keep that going. Something I started in 2025 was I started consistently going to the gym, and that had always been really daunting for me. But when I say gym, I don't mean the gym. I'm not lifting weights, I think. I mean, we can't tell, the shirt's huge, but I did not start weightlifting. I did not start training like that. I'm not training to become an assassin or anything, but I started going to the climbing gym. I've always been very interested in rock climbing, and I just decided to pick it up this year. And so I have a membership to one of my local gyms, and it's been really awesome and something that has been fantastic for me. They have yoga classes as well, so I've been able to take advantage of that. And I feel that it has helped me build some confidence. If I can scale this 40-foot wall totally on my own, no help from anybody, then I feel that I can take on daily tasks that maybe I might have been a little bit afraid of prior to that. So that's been something that has been really great for me, and something I want to carry into 2026 and keep doing consistently. I feel like these last few months I would go consistently one week, and then the next week I would be hit with a head cold, and then for the next 2 weeks I'm out, and because I don't want to go get anyone else sick, and I don't want to overwork myself when I'm already not feeling well, but hoping to keep those sicknesses away and continue consistently going to the gym and working my body as well as my mind. And then specifically goal for this platform. Again, I'm going to say what I said last year. Of course, it didn't work very well last year, but I don't want to focus on the numbers or the people. I would love for you guys to watch and stick around and hang out and ask any questions. I would love to chat, but I don't want to focus on that. I just want to focus on this being a place where I can practice, maybe intelligently speaking about things, reviewing things, watching a movie and telling you guys what I thought about it, reading books and saying what I thought about it. I think I said last year that I've always been really bad about just giving stuff a 5-star or a 4-star, rating it, but not reviewing it, because I don't know that I have the capacity to take in what I read, comprehend it, what I watched, and give a thorough review that doesn't sound like a 5-year-old wrote it. But I know that that is something that I am capable of, and so I'd like to use this platform, as well as my Letterboxd and Fable, which is where I review books. I want to focus on that, and I'm hoping to do that analog as well, write down my review, then maybe summarize it on my platforms or on here. With that, I want to do a monthly post on here. I'm not worried about creating content in the way that I think content is created right now for most people, but I want to be mindful of that as well. I just want to make an end of month recap. Of course, this is the beginning of the month, but I'm just giving you guys my goals for the year, so maybe I'll end up with 13 or 14 videos this year. Hopefully doing a recap every month of things that I've been doing, an update on my art, update on my reads, update on movies, just anything I want to update. I don't think that this is something that I necessarily feel like dragging along with me all the time. I think I did a little bit of vlogging last year, and I don't know that that's necessarily meant for me. I think I'm not very good at it. I'm better at just sitting down and maybe word vomiting and then figuring out how much of it to actually put out there, but filming week long, what I did in a week, it's not for me. But yeah, so that's what I'm hoping to use this channel for. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. I hope you're interested in that. If you're not, that's perfectly okay. There's a lot of people on this platform, and you will find someone who you would like to watch, and I'll still be here reviewing things and updating on my life, my hopefully mindful, analog life. Which feels funny to say talking to a camera, but alas. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys was my list of books that I'm hoping to read this year. I think every year I do about a must-read list for that year, and it's books that maybe I've put off in the past, and you can read anything you want, but you have to read these. And I did pretty good. I think I had 10 this past year, and I read 8 of the 10 that I had on there. And then this year I've got a completely new list, but I'm hoping to take my mindfulness over into my reading as well. Maybe not picking up every book that every book talker or booktuber talks about, but being very mindful of what do I like to read, who are the authors that I like, what's the subject matter that I like, the length of books. I'm hoping to read bigger books this year, and so my goal on Fable that I have set for myself is 12 books. I want to read 12 books this year, but I want them to be 12 good books. I'm more than welcome to read more than 12. I hopefully will read more than 12. But my main goal is to read 12 good books that I feel like I spent a lot of time with and I analyzed them. I want to get more into annotating, maybe taking in the work and digesting it, comprehending it, really thinking about, does this connect to this? Why would this character do this? Just maybe using a bit more critical thinking and spending more time with a book rather than rushing through it and trying to hit all 40 books in a year. I think that I'm a slow reader anyway, and so I think maybe taking the pressure off of myself to read so many books in a year, I won't ever feel behind. And if I don't read 12 this year, as long as I spent a good amount of time with the books that I did read, I will be happy. So I guess I'm gonna get into the list of books that I have for this year. Towards the end of the year, about November, December, I got very in the mood to reread a series that I absolutely loved, but I'm already in the middle of 4 books, so we're already not starting out very great with this mindfulness of reading. And that's something else. I said I was going to get into these, and I will. I'm very bad about reading multiple at once, and my goal for this year is to at max read 2 at once. Majority of the time throughout the year I end up reading 4, 5, 6 at once, just because I think I might call myself a mood reader, but something grabs my attention and I go, oh, that reminds me of that book, and I wanted to read that book, let me read that book. And so then I open it up and then I just never finish them, and I have a bunch of half-read books on my shelf. But anyway, towards the end of the year I got the urge to reread the Poppy War trilogy. I read this, probably part of the reason is I read it about this time 2 years ago, last year, 2024. I started this book in maybe October, November of 2024, and I finished The Burning God in January of 2025. So it's been about a year, but this book series stays on my mind a lot. I think it's just a fantastic trilogy, and so this is something that I'm really wanting to reread this year and maybe spend more time with it. I think I flew through it when I read it the first time because I was enjoying it so much, but I want to be more mindful. How many times can she say the word? I just want to spend more time with it and maybe go back through and see if there's anything that I missed in it, and maybe really look into Ren's story and see what I missed and what else there is to dig into with this book. Another book that I heard of last year, I'm not sure when it came out, but it's The Ministry of Time. Like I said, I mentioned that I have been watching a lot of Doctor Who this year, and I have found that I have a deep love for time travel. And I heard a booktuber on here, I believe Emmy Reads, was talking about this book, but I am very interested in this book. I think it is beautiful. The cover, at least, the premise of it sounds great. And just any book to do with time travel. One of my favorite books ever is This Is How You Lose the Time War. I got a beautiful edition of it for Christmas. I was very grateful for that book. I'm excited to continue feeding that obsession with this book. One that I have never read, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I've never read it, but I'm admitting that I've never read it, and I'm looking forward to finally reading it this year, is The Hunger Games. I have never read any of The Hunger Games. I feel like I need to catch up with the classics, and so I'm ready to read this series this year. I think also I would like to read Sunrise on the Reaping before I see it. I saw The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it was a beautiful movie. I recently got it on DVD, and I'm so excited to keep watching it and watching it and watching it. But I'm excited to read Miss Collins' original works. The movies are fantastic, but I'm just excited to get into the biblical texts. But still excited. And this would also include the rest of the series, probably all at once, but just for the sake of the stack, showing you the first one. Another author that I've only read one book from, but have collected about 7. I loved the first book that I read. The level of magical realism in it was exactly right up my alley. But I'm looking forward to getting to the Wind-Up Bird Chronicles this year. Mr. Murakami, I know there's a lot of back and forth about his portrayals of women in his books. Like I said, I've only read one, and I remember a bit of it, but I think I was more focused on the story than I was worried about it. Either way, his level of, like I said, magical realism was just something that drew me in. I don't know anything about this one. I know that it's one that is just like a rapid fire. You're talking about him, you mentioned this one. So I'm excited. I was gifted this year, or 2025, so I'm very excited to get to this one at some point this year, which is also a larger one, but excited to spend time with it and hopefully love it. Excited to get to another Murakami. One that I picked up this year, and I also don't know anything about this one, but the cover is gorgeous, and if it has anything to do with nature, like I'm expecting it will, then I'm very excited. And that is The Overstory by Richard Powers, I believe. Yes. Like I said, I don't know anything about it, but I'm excited, and it looks like there will be trees involved, and if there aren't, that'll be a disappointment for me. But I love the font. I love how it looks on the inside. There's words. I love it, and I'm excited. But so that's another one that I'm excited to read this year, is The Overstory. I had the privilege of going to Alaska earlier in 2025, about halfway through 2025. I think I posted an Alaska vlog, more of like a diary of my journey. And while I was there, I picked up a book by a local author called Ordinary Wolves, which is one that I'm just really excited to read. And this one, like many of the ones that I've mentioned already, I don't know quite what it is about. I think it's about a young man leaving his home and then moving to a larger city and seeing that maybe things aren't greener on the other side, but I could totally be wrong, but I'm excited to get to it. Before I went to Alaska, and while I was in Alaska, I was able to form a very deep appreciation for the Native American culture and the indigenous people whose land we reside on currently, and it really just moved me in a way that I wasn't expecting. So I'm hoping to get into more books by indigenous authors and seeing their perspective and maybe the way that they live their life and how it's different from the way that a post-colonized world is. So just another one I'm excited to read, and hoping that it adds even more to my appreciation. Moving on. I'm hoping to read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I've never read anything by Susanna Clarke. If you can see the bird right here, I have another Susanna Clarke sitting right here that I'm also hoping to read this year. But I picked this book up in 2025 at the same time that I picked up The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I was unaware that they were so similar, and so I really dove into The Starless Sea, and this one got pushed to the wayside, probably simply because it was shorter. And I said that I had more time to read this one and I didn't have to rush, but I was able to pick this one up at Goodwill actually. I thrifted this book, the hardcover, it's absolutely beautiful, and from the premise of it, I will be very excited to read it. I feel, from what I've heard, this also has the best level of magical realism that absolutely speaks to my heart. So I'm very excited to pick that, to pick up a first or second Susanna Clarke, depending on which one I get to first, because the other one that I would like to read this year by Miss Susanna is indeed Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Like this whole stack that I have brought before the council, I have no idea what this book is about. I have heard many people rave about it. I have heard many people claim that they're ready to throw it out the window and maybe into the ocean if they're on a boat. But it's another book that I have had on my shelf for a little bit now, and it is just chunky, and it is a book that I'm excited to sit with and spend a lot of time on. Have this book be the one book that I'm reading while I read it, and just devote myself to it. Unless I hate it, of course. I'm very welcome. I'm open to DNFing books, and if that's the case for this one, then that's the case, but speaking it into existence that I will enjoy this, and I'm just looking forward to sitting down with a book this size. Speaking of a book that size, I purchased Tom's Crossing by Mark Danielewski when it came out this year. I don't know why I purchased it. I own House of Leaves, but I have never read House of Leaves. The concept of it is very interesting to me, but I've just never been in the right frame of mind to read it, maybe. But seeing another chunky book, something in my brain said, Morgan, you're looking forward to reading chunky books next year. Let's go buy the chunky book. So we bought the chunky book, and once again, I don't know what it's about. I do believe that it is within the horror genre, so I am looking forward to that. I love a good horror book. And this copy just happens to be signed by Mr. Danielewski, so I am just really excited for all of these books that I have picked up. I'm looking forward to the thick ones and the thin ones and the simple ones and the in-depth ones. I'm looking forward to mindfully reading and spending time with these books and my art and whatever movies that I choose to watch this year, mindful of the activities that I do and the time I spend creating these videos. I hope that you all have your own personal goals that you're excited for this year. I hope that you have good intentions for the year ahead, and I hope that they go according to plan. And with that, I will see you at the end of this month, hopefully. I plan on it. So, I'll see you then. Thank you for being here again. Welcome back, and see you later.